Hello, viewers out there. It's a beautiful sunny Monday afternoon, and you're welcome to Sports Orbit, reaching you from Leadership TV. My name is Afacho. Salifu Usman is right here with me. Salifu, welcome to Sports Orbit.
Thank you, Alpha. It's always my pleasure.
All right, also on Sports Orbit today, our colleague Wale Ayeni will also be joining us all the way from the UK. Wale, you're welcome to Sports Orbit. And how are you doing, Wale?
Thank you, Alpha, for having me. Salifu, how you doing? I'm fine right here in the UK. It's very, very cold at this point in time. We're in the winter already, so it's just the cold weather
Good to
in the
see
UK.
you. Good to see you once again, man. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm very, very fine. I'm doing good. Whole lot of
All
sporting,
right.
weekend.
Yeah. All right. We'll begin straight from the Champions League draws as it just came out today. That's talking about the UEFA Champions League. And in the UEFA Champions League, Liverpool has been drawn against Madrid, while Chelsea had to face Dortmund in the last round of 16. The other star match will have Paris Saint-Germain also squaring up with Bayern Munich. In that one, we'll take a look at all of the draws and talk about them. And Salifu, looking at these draws, last year's finalists, Liverpool and Madrid in the round of 16. What do you see from this encounter? Do you think Liverpool will want to, stop Madrid's intending run to the final early enough in the early stages of the Champions League?
Yeah, obviously that would be the dream of any team because
Mm.
once you're in a competition, what your aim is just
Yeah.
to get past your opponents. And
Exactly.
the only way you can get to the final is to ensure that you beat the Madrid, who is now the next opponent in the round of 16.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, look at the Liverpool's, the way Liverpool are looking like this season.
Mm.
Ultimately, whether they have that strength to contain and to go beyond and ultimately advance the revenge of what happened to them in the final of last season is another questions for the answer for another day. But I don't think Liverpool at the moment they are in the best mood. If you remember the owners of the Liverpool, the FS have also put the club up for sale. That is, I think today ultimately is not the good news for Liverpool fans. Why you may hope that they are having the Barcelona Real Madrid to contend in the early stage of the Champions League and only to wake up to hear that the club is also up for sale again. Well, if you also depend, maybe the better buy can also come.
Yeah, apart from that, Liverpool can be a very, very mysterious team at times. Sometimes, see, we saw that game against City, even when they were in the best of form, against all odds, they still went to, all the way to City to inflict that defeat. And even during the weekend against Tottenham, a lot of people didn't really give Liverpool a chance, but playing against Tottenham and they still came out on top. So sometimes in this kind of clashes, when big teams come against each other like this, sometimes form does not really matter.
Yes, I agree with you, and it is always ultimately going to be a match watering match
Yeah.
for both for either fans of either
exactly.
you are fans of the Liverpool or you are fans of the Madrid or even a fans of any club.
Mm.
And even for betting industry, it's also a time to make to earn good money.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that Madrid
Mm.
being on their looking at their antecedents and at the same time if you look at Madrid by Liverpool on several things that have come to they have inflict more pain on Liverpool man than what Liverpool have brought to the Madrid. This is they lost in the last of 4 years, they have lost two finals to Madrid. And now they head the way again for the round of 16 to contend with. And ultimately Madrid want to have a shot for once again in the Champions League trophy. And from them the only way to promote that you hardly see Madrid get knocked out in the round of 16 of the Champions League if you look at it. But just like say Liverpool, if you write Liverpool or you did so at your own career, no matter the form of Liverpool, they are always in the serious thing just like it's around what I believe Liverpool can pretty surprise any day, anywhere.
And for me, one thing in this round of 16 games, why a lot of the matches, not don't want to predict. Don't forget that these matches come up next year in February.
Yeah.
The World Cup,
and before the lot of
the
a
World
lot of
Cup,
things about that
exactly.
change.
The World Cup is just by the corner, so a lot of things might change. So for me, it might still be too early to start predicting because February is still some time. We have the World Cup. We don't know what will happen to some players during the World Cup and how they come out of the World Cup. So I think a lot of things might change before then.
Yes, absolutely. You have hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The current form doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing now we are just in early
Exactly.
November,
Yeah.
and by in 2 weeks' time,
Mm.
the whole club, the whole
Yeah.
players will go on vacations, going to go and join their national team,
Exactly.
to
Mm.
go to the national team for a camp.
Mm.
And before you come back from the World Cup, a whole lot of things will definitely change. So
Definitely.
the current form of
Mm.
of any team now
Mm.
may not define what will
Exactly.
definitely happen. Even the massive
Mm.
that's firing from all seasons
Mhm.
at the moment, something can change.
Yeah.
I quite agree with you.
Mm.
I think we have started, we have ended everything.
Mm.
Definitely between now and February, a whole lot of things will change. So whatever you are doing at the moment does not determine what you are going to do in February. So February is another day, it's another storyline.
Exactly. So, if Wally, if you're still with us, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich,
Mm.
Inter Milan, Porto, Borussia, Dortmund, Chelsea, Frankfurt, Napoli, AC Milan, Spurs, Club Brugge, the surprise entry into the round of 16 against Benfica, RB Leipzig, Man City, who have always said somehow Man City has a way of getting easy draws in the Champions League, and this is not the first time. On their way to the final, you see most of the top teams meeting top teams, but Man City somehow they have a way of getting easy draws and breezing all the way to the
Mm.
semi-final or till they meet a real test and they get knocked out. Wale.
Mm. Of course, no doubt about it. The match between Liverpool and Real Madrid at this point in time, we know is a current occurring match in the Champions League. But Jurgen Klopp, who I know he wants to prove a point at this point in time, no doubt about it. Real Madrid are the defending champions when it comes to the Champions League, but it's going to be a vital game. Both managers are very very experienced. Looking at the last meeting head to head, Madrid has won five, they have drawn one, Liverpool has won three. So at this point in time, we know that Real Madrid always come to the party when it actually matters most. Looking at the two finals, they actually won those are two finals. Liverpool didn't actually come to the party, but this time around, I believe it to be a different kettle of fish at this point in time. We're expecting Liverpool to come to the party, but no doubt about it, as you guys have said, it's going to be in February. So the World Cup will be done and dusted by that time. Players will be back, and let's see how it goes. But we should just keep our finger crossed in that particular fixture. It might just be the final before final, and I hope that we get to see a whole lot of fireworks in that particular encounter. And then another, fixtures in this particular one is still PSG versus Bayern Munich. Don't forget,
Mm.
is another cracker in that particular one. Bayern Munich, who are the German champions, PSG, who are also the France Champions League. While the likes of Messi and Mbappe, Neymar at this point in time has been terrorizing in the French League One, also in the Champions League. Not forgetting Sadio Mane, who actually is donning the colors of Bayern Munich at this point in time. We still have a point to prove in that particular one. So for me, I've seen two finals before finals in this Champions League in the round of 16 already. It shows
Very
that
well.
the Champions League, we should expect a whole lot of fireworks in that particular one. No doubt about it. Don't forget Man City also, getting Leipzig. I feel it's going to be a walk in the park for Pep Guardiola and his boys, but
Yeah.
you can't rule that away when it comes to the Champions League. I've seen how the likes of Barcelona, how the likes of Juventus were actually kicked out in the Champions League, and now they are playing in the Europa League. So we should just keep our finger crossed. It is not about it's over. The game is 90 minutes, two legs. So we
Yeah.
should just wait. Let's get to watch the first leg, and from there we see what happens. But on paper now, we can actually say that anything will qualify because it's game of football. Anything can happen, Alpha.
Very well.
Yeah, if I may add, what
Mm.
this draw have through all this that is obviously clear that two of the favorite for the title they
Mm.
will get out.
Yes,
Will definitely get out at the end
Mm.
stage of the knockout, at the end
Exactly.
stage of the
Yeah.
round of 16.
Mm.
So that is the obvious thing.
Mm.
You,
Mm.
you may even be because you can even you can also see Dortmund as a potential title
Yeah.
contender, and also end up also for the Dortmund and Chelsea can also get out
Mm.
of the team in the round of 16.
Yeah.
So I think most some favorite title contenders are
Mm.
definitely going to go out. That is sure about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. All right. From the Champions League, we head straight to the second tier, a European competition that's talking about the Europa League, where also the playoff draws were out today. And clearly, a star match for this one, lots of fans have been talking about, is Barcelona and Manchester United, just like a lot of people had predicted jokingly about it when United came second. Then it will be Juventus against FC Nantes of France, Sporting Lisbon against FC Mitterrand, and Ajax will be against Union Berlin, Bayern Leverkusen, will be against, well, I can see that properly. Well, PSV, Salzburg against Roma, but clearly Bayern, Manchester United. This is the kind of fixture that some years ago would have been a Champions League fixture, but this is happening in the Europa League.
really, really unfortunate. That is football for you.
Yeah.
These are those who are the one who are, if you mistakenly see this fixture somewhere, or you see the match, you are just passing by, you see Barcelona versus United play.
Yeah.
Nothing will tell you that it's a Europa League competition. You tell that this is a Champions League match. But unfortunately, this is Champions League match. This is a Europa League match. This is what the fate has thrown at both Man United and Barcelona. Barcelona, who were hoping that they were in the Champions League, unfortunately find themselves back down again in the second phase of the competition. And now, two of them have to give way. Two of them will definitely not going to make the group stage of the competition.
Exactly.
That's the iron of the whole life. And, if you have asked any of the side, none of them would have won to pick
at all.
But unfortunately, the draw has thrown them further. They have to contend with. So it's going to be a very mouth-watering match. If you ask maybe, I think Xavi Hernandez will be more scared of United than what Ten Hag will speak about Barcelona.
So while looking at Europa playoffs, the draws were out today. Some interesting games there. The likes of Juventus, United, Barcelona, Ajax in the Europa League. Who would have thought these teams would be playing at these stages of the Europa League some 4 or 5 seasons ago? But how are the mighty falling?
Of course, that's football for you. You're as good as your last match. If you don't actually put on impressive performance and you get to get the needed result, you might just actually find your play. You might just actually find yourself where you don't really like at this point in time. This is what is really happening to Barcelona, to Juventus, and also to Manchester United at this point in time. Just so sad. We actually expected that Manchester United will top their group, and then will not be playing in the playoff round. But you have to actually see what they actually did during the group campaign. It was not just an impressive performance from Ten Hag and his boys, and now they have been faced to to play. Some people will say the almighty Barcelona at this point in time, but it's still going to be a mouth-watering encounter. Xavi Hernandez must actually bring his A game when they get to play Manchester United, and don't forget Ronaldo also is in the mix, so it's just going to be like a rekindle of rekindle of might when Ronaldo gets to play Barcelona, because I know that he will want to actually prove a point in that particular matchup. But no doubt about it, it's going to be a mouth-watering clash. Juventus also is going to play Nantes. Don't forget Nantes, our own, Moses Simon play for Nantes. So we expect, to see him, come to the party in that particular one. Hopefully, he should get a goal, and Nantes should get to win in that particular, fixtures. Also, Roma is one team that they'll be playing Salzburg. Another, interesting game in that particular one. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. Don't forget Ajax and Berlin. Ajax also a good team from Holland. They have been playing impressive well, but they didn't actually make it to the Champions League round of 16. They'll be waiting to prove their point when they play in the Europa League. So is this season in the in the European leagues is going to be mouth-watering encounter, photo finish in all the matches. You can actually put your money on one particular team and say that at the end of the day that will come out top. It's a game of 90 minutes that will actually determine who the winner. If you don't put up an impressive performance, it means you are going nowhere. You might just be sent packing, going back to your various stadium.
All right, we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Don't go nowhere.
sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round. Sports Orbit. We make the world go round. Sports Orbit.
Welcome back from that break. It's still Sports Orbit. Now to some continental football where Bielsa Queens, that's talking about the CAF Women's Champions League, where Bielsa Queens have reached their first ever semi-final after trashing Wadi Degla of Egypt 3-0 in that one. The Prosperity Girls won their second match of the tournament and needed victory on Sunday to seal passage to the last four. They reached the semi-final of the competition, having amassed 6 points in 3 games in Group B. The feat makes them the first Nigerian club to reach the semi-final of the tournament. Coach Domokara side will now play the winners of Group A. So for Bielsa Queens, congratulations to them. We had spoken about them after their victory and beating Wadi Degla of Egypt 3-0 in that one. That's a good one. I wish this was not taking anything from the women, but in Nigerian side defeating a North African side, you would have loved to see that coming from our male men also.
Well, that is maybe you are just indirectly advising the male clubs to learn
from the women.
From the women. But if our male clubs can always go to North Africa and get beaten, and so here we have having another female club went to the North Africa and show them that the class of what they are. So, but with no disrespect to the Egyptian club, I was quite aware that my only fear I had for the Bielsa Queen was after they lost their first match to the Sundown Girls, and then in the second match to contend with the Tibi Mozawe lady, I was afraid that either they are going to get past from against the Congolese side. But after beating the Congolese side 2-1, and I was confidently sure that the North African ladies will not be a stopping block for them to get to the semi-final of the competition. And proof to that they did the job well, putting the North Africa where they rightly belong. Then also come to women's football, and now they are in the semi-final, so waiting for the winners of all the other ones to contend. So I think Bielsa Queens, I have full confidence on this team that they'll definitely give force something, do us proud. They have already make us proud. I think this will be the first West Africa, not just with Nigerian football, the first West Africa side to win the semi-final of the CAF Champions. To me, for that they have created the record already. But we still urge them to go a step further to only get to the final of the competition and ultimately bring the trophy.
So, Wale, how do you rate the performance of Bielsa Queens in that CAF Women's Champions League where they defeated Wadi Degla 3-0 to make it to the semi-final?
Of course, it was a terrific, performance from Bielsa Queens. We saw the likes of, Gloria and Uguma, getting to make 225 passes, complete passes in that particular fixtures. It shows that they were in possession of the game from the start of the game to the end of the game. 3-0 emphatic victory, putting them into the semi-final. They have actually sent a strong signal and a strong message to their opponent so that when they come to play the semi-finals, they should actually put on an impressive performance. If not, they will get a beating of their lives from Bielsa Queen. A very, very impressive performance from the Queen. They should actually continue to consolidate on this kind of performance going into the semi-finals. Who says that they can't win the CAF Champions League for the first time, them going to play in that competition and also getting for them to reach the semi-final. I feel they can do so if they actually work together as a team, just the way they actually defeated the North Africans. They're able to bring such performance into the semi-finals. I see them going into the finals of the Women's Champions League.
All right, that's that for that now. To our next story. Remember, last week we had talked about an African country, Tunisia, risking FIFA ban as a result of government interference in football. And today again, we are hearing of another African country, this time around the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, also risking expulsion from the FIFA 2022 World Cup. This World Cup has been even leading to it so many controversies, and now we've been hearing of countries being risked. And now, this time around, not as a result of government interference, but this has to do with a legal battle with their kit and equipment supply, which is Le Coq Sportif. The Paris Commercial Court had intervened in the dispute and ruled in the Coq Sportif's favor and directed the Cameroonian team to wear the kit supplier's uniform at the World Cup. However, Fecafoot decided to terminate the contract with the French kit company unilaterally and chose to strike a deal with American company One All Sport in a move that could irk the football ruling body. And in a chat with Cameroon lawyer Mr. May Timbabono said the move could lead to Cameroon's expulsion from the impending World Cup. He said a refusal to execute the decision by Fecafoot could lead to the disqualification of Cameroon from the World Cup, which we should not forget is a FIFA act. Recall. I mean, but for me, I was hoping it was going to be a government interference, but this has nothing to do with government interference. So I really don't understand why FIFA is, so concerned about this issue. Is it that FIFA were the ones who brought the kit supplier to kit, or FIFA directed? So I really don't understand why FIFA should get involved in a matter like this, which, in my opinion, a country should be at liberty to select who supplies their kits.
But if you're a contract ban,
Yeah.
if you're under a contract, you don't just unilaterally
Terminate
the
it.
contract. So, and at the same time, FIFA also have a right to protect all those
Agreed.
because if you have legally entered a contract with an organization and the contract has not terminated and you have not and you decided to go against the rule that guides that contract. So sometimes Africa teams should need to learn lessons. You should be very careful if you are trying the contract. And the way is sometimes you Africa team, the national Africa team, a team, particularly a team that have been to the 5 World Cup, is a brand of respect.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't. Sometimes we should Africa team go into a negotiation with the contract with their head down, putting themselves at a disadvantage, as if they are earning a favor or the organizations give them a favor.
Yeah.
Rather, you are the one giving those organizations a favor because you own the brand. They are coming to get from you. You are the one showcasing their image. If you are not good enough to support their image, they will come to you. So they need you more than you need them. But oftentimes, Africa team always place themselves down. For instance, a typical example is what is happening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Today, we were told that Nigeria Super Eagles is wearing a Nike shirt for free at no cost. That so a former president even told Nigeria even told Nigeria that Nigeria should be grateful for Nike for giving us a shirt to wear, as if that we can Nigeria don't afford to buy a shirt. But on what condition? Up to today, that story still remained like that. That Nigeria's the national team, our 9 Nigerian national teams are wearing a Nike shirt for free. And now, what if I discover? What if I mean what is happening in Cameroon? It's like Cameroon football are finished your change because there was a change of leadership in the Cameroon football. And maybe someone who feel that the contract is not properly signed, or the details is not signed, or the Cameroon has advantage. But if you want to terminate, you have to terminate through legal process, through due process, not through backdoor. That's what. And if you read that story detail, because when they say if there's a witchcraft in the night and a child died in the morning, who do you suspect? But why should, because if you look at the interpretation, when the Cameroon lawyer saying that may lead to expulsion of Cameroon from the World Cup, why should the Cameroon lawyer, who ordinarily supposed to defend the Cameroon, will say make sure? So from there, I begin to feel maybe there's a government hand within this state.
To another World Cup story, a lot of players will be going to miss this World Cup due to injuries, and the latest player who has been ruled out is Brazilian midfielder Felipe Coutinho, who has been ruled out for up to 10 weeks and will miss Qatar 2022. He suffered a quadricep injury with a 7-week return, his best case scenario, and in 7 weeks, World Cup would have been done and dusted. He sustained that injury in Aston Villa's 3-1 victory over United. And new boss Unai Emery said he will not be available for Thursday's Carabao Cup tie at Old Trafford or the Premier League fixture at Brighton next weekend. Wally, lots of players missing this World Cup. The latest in this series is Coutinho. The other week, just over the weekend, Ben Chilwell also was confirmed who missed the World Cup. Now Coutinho. So many players are going to miss this World Cup.
Of course, just before I react on the Coutinho, I just want to say something about the Cameroon, deal at this point in time. We know they'll be playing, Serbia, they'll be playing Brazil and Switzerland in the World Cup at this point in time. They need to actually, end this controversy, leading to the contracts at this point in time, because we know that in the past, so many people actually bring excuses such as because they were not focused. That's why they didn't get to play in the World Cup. So the high time, the faster they actually put this particular matter to bed, the better for them. The World Cup is just 3 weeks away from now, and we want to have them in their right shape, frame of mind, going into the World Cup. Now talking about Coutinho ruled out from the Brazilian squad. I feel he's a good player, but no doubt about it. But I feel that he will not be missed in the Brazilian squad because of the kind of caliber of players Brazil have in the house now. Just a few hours ago, the list was actually released. Even there are players who are firing with all cylinders in Arsenal, such as Martinelli, Gabriel. They are not being included in the 26-man list going to the World Cup for Brazil. But at this point in time, it's painful because we know that the World Cup is the biggest competition in the whole world. Every player will want to play in that particular one. At this point in time, I feel that players should just be cautious about them not picking up injury, last-minute injury before the World Cup, because if they get to pick up injury, it gets to destabilize the plans which various coaches actually have for the World Cup. So I just want to say all the best to all the teams going to the World Cup at this point in time. It's just so sad that Nigerian players are firing with all cylinders and will not be going to the World Cup. But anyways, all the best to the team. Players should actually watch out. They should not get injured in the last minute going to the World Cup. Alpha.
All right, that's that for that. Now to our final story before we leave. A lot of interesting games went down in the EPL this weekend. A lot of star matches, of course. For Arsenal against Chelsea, London derby. Arsenal had its day. Then for United, I felt that their winning run was halted once again by Aston Villa. Then the other star match of the weekend, Liverpool Tottenham. Well, Liverpool, who has been struggling for form, were able to at least inflict a crushing defeat to Tottenham in that one. Well, quickly looking at the Premier League results over the weekend, Arsenal, Chelsea, clearly the star match. Everyone was looking forward to that match, and Arsenal came out on top, 1-0 victory in that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. 1-0 victory. Arsenal rightly confirmed their supremacy.
Yeah.
And then supremacy that they are the Lord of Lords to be. And they clearly demonstrated that in this exercise. Aubameyang before the match was starting Arsenal that there's nothing personal, but unfortunately we then have to give it back to him. Nothing personal.
Just 8 touches in 60 minutes.
But my only disappointing result at the weekend was Fulham Man City. Fulham have that match under their control. They won that match, playing against a 10-man down. That would have been a very sweet victory. Even though the match would have ended draw, I would have been more happy than allow the Man City.
No, but looking at that penalty, wasn't that for me? I think it was too soft.
It was too soft. And I think that the penalty was given at 5 minutes at extra time of the match when the match up to have ended.
It was a dubious penalty.
Sometimes that's some of the controversy we always witness in the EPF in the Premier League. Man City, to me, don't deserve that victory against Fulham. It was aided victory. They don't deserve that 3 points that they gave them.
Well, looking at results, I mean, one team who has been really surprising everybody, look at Newcastle up to 3rd position after that victory. Interesting times, I mean, for Eddie Howe and his boys. When he got that job, a lot of us, doubted him, thinking he couldn't do the Newcastle job. But he's proving that Newcastle might just be up to something this season.
Of course, the resurgence in Newcastle actually started at the tail end of last season. We saw how they defeated, Arsenal. That particular match actually ended Arsenal hope of going to the Champions League. But we have seen them, getting to play very well this particular time. They defeated Southampton by 4-1. I didn't see that coming, but they have been putting up impressive performance. They might just be, the top 7 team. We might just reclassify the Premier League as the top 7 team at this point in time, looking at the performance of Newcastle. Then, talking about Arsenal versus Chelsea in that particular, Chelsea versus Arsenal, we thought Aubameyang was going to fire all cylinders, but it's just so shameful at this point in time that he was able to make 8, touches from the start of the game to up to 60 minutes when he was being substituted, by the coach. But we can see that Arsenal have been very, very impressive this season. Just losing to Manchester United and also getting that draw in Southampton. It shows that they are a team to reckon with at this point in time. Teams who have been at this level in previous seasons has gone all the way to win the Premier League title. But let's see how it goes. That the World Cup, the league is going to have a breather at this point in time. Players will go to the World Cup and come back. Let's see if they are going to continue that impressive performance in this particular one. Of course, but no doubt about it. We hope and say, Liverpool get it to beat, Tottenham. I was around Tottenham Stadium in that particular one. It was a whole silence at the White Hart Lane. They didn't actually see that coming. 2 mistakes, coming from, one of their key players. It shows that Antonio Conte must actually, work very, very hard in that particular team, and I've known for them to actually, push them up into, the top 6, because we know it's very, very difficult for teams like Tottenham, for teams like Chelsea at this point in time. That particular win for Jurgen Klopp has actually boosted their chances in this particular season. At least we know that they are far from the league leaders at this point in time. But I still see them coming up to finish in top 4 at the end of the season. Alpha.
All right, that's that for today's episode of Sports Orbit. Tomorrow we'll come back again, and don't forget the World Cup is fast approaching, and we'll soon start with our World Cup countdown. Once again, Salifu, thank you for being in the studio today.
Thank you.
All right, Wale, also thank you for joining us all the way from the UK on this beautiful Monday evening.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone in the studio, to all my colleagues right there at the office, and also Alpha. Good evening to you.
All right, that's nice for you. Thank you for joining us, Wale. All right, that's that for Sport Orbit for today. And until we come your way tomorrow with another exciting edition, do stay safe out there. My name is Alpha Acho, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for